I forgot my computer. I don't got
laptop today, Tom.
any notes on the news, but I feel pretty confident.
That's right. You don't have the notes, do you?
I don't have the notes.
All right.
So I'm going to go get my computer in just a second, but let's go take a look at the first news and you guys vamp, okay?
Yeah, go for it.
What do you think FD stands for? I'll be back.
Federal Deserve.
Federal Department of, and Tom's mic is going to stay on. So you're
your mic is on.
You're going to
I know my mic is on.
Running through the office. You're going to hear the calisthenics in action. So getting ready for this, because I put this news together.
Right. What is FD, Mike?
FD is Fun Again Distribution, I believe.
Oh.
But we're
Florida Department of Transportation.
Yeah. We are unfortunately starting the news with two kind of downer pieces, and then we'll get into some more uplifting stuff. But a couple of down things here at the beginning that Tom's going to.
All right. So yesterday in my unboxing that went up, I said Fred Distribution is closing. It's not Fred. The Fred used to be part of Fun Again. That's what Fred stands for. Fun Again Retail Distribution. I forget what the E stands for. I think RE for retail.
Express, maybe? Who knows? You all right?
I ran a little there.
Yeah, just take a breath.
But they're not closing. They're still around because they own Eagle Griffin. But Fun Again Distribution is closing, as I am slowly pulling up for the information.
Yeah. So what's going to be the impact here? They
ship a lot of Kickstarters.
Yeah. Actually, now that you mentioned that, I've gotten a couple of emails because I may back a Kickstarter or 12. I've gotten a couple of emails that are saying, hey, you may have heard that this is happening. This is not going to affect us because this. So I think a lot of publishers are kind of trying to get in on the front end and or make other arrangements, reassure the backers that you're still going to get your products, that kind of a thing.
I'm a little concerned about this. So I don't know when it was. It was in 2019. Fun Again Distribution bought Hit Point Sales, which was owned by Game Salute.
Okay.
Game Salute was shipping out a lot of stuff. They bought them. Now they're both gone. So if I was like, hey, quick, name your people who distribute Kickstarters, you'd be like Quartermaster Logistics, and then what?
Amazon does a little bit, I think, actually.
A little bit. We use a company called Full-X to do ours. So there's but Quartermaster does is like, it feels like they're moving into almost monopoly territory.
They have a huge segment.
They do a good job, so I'll give them that.
Yes.
But I am, and I also don't want them to get overwhelmed. You know, like if you don't want to have a Kickstarter, be like, okay, Quartermaster says we don't got room for you.
Yeah, you're 20th in the queue type of a thing.
So, anyhow, also this kind of came out of nowhere. Serge Leggett, I think. Serge Leggett. He passed away. So he is a very well-known French designer. And the French designers are almost like a group of guys who all hang out together.
They know each other.
They work together.
They work together a lot.
Socialize, yeah.
Bruno Catala, Antoine Bauza, and Serge Leggett, who did Shadows over Camelot, most recently, very popular, Nidavellir, Mystery of the Abbey. So a
lot of classics.
That's how I heard that he had passed, was we were doing our top 100. I think it was the first list, the 100 through 91, and I put Nidavellir, and I was talking about how much I enjoyed the game, and then I saw him in the live chat, and I was, of course we had to confirm afterwards, but yeah, terribly sad news, of course.
Yes.
Yeah, it was
he was not
some serious illness. I guess he was in his 60s, I'm guessing.
Yeah, he was not old. So yeah, it's very sad news indeed.
Okay, so let's talk about some games now. Portal has announced Imperial Miners. This is in the Imperial Settlers universe, which I don't even know what that means anymore, because isn't Imperial Settlers our universe?
Yeah, it's in our universe. It sounds better than saying this game is set in our universe.
Well, Imperial Settlers is a fine game with a very bad name because it takes two other popular games and puts them together. Imperial and Settlers of Catan. Now, Settlers of Catan is now called Catan, but anyway. This is also generic. Imperial Miners.
Yeah. They didn't name it Imperial Catan. That would be problematic.
That would be rough, yeah.
No, this seems neat.
I like the cover. I like everything, but I think the name isn't great.
The name is not great, sure. I like the look, and this is actually from a different designer than a lot of the previous Imperial everythings here, which would be from, obviously from Portal, but from their in-house designers. This is from Tim Armstrong, who's done Orbis, and who's done
Arcana Rising.
Arcana Rising, which I haven't
was
played.
not
But I played
aware of
Orbis.
that. Okay.
I thought Orbis was an interesting game. This one looks really cool. This idea of, again, building sort of these cards underneath the surface, so you're kind of building downward. But then as you are linking things, you are re-triggering previous cards you've played. I've always been a fan of that.
Yeah, that's a neat mechanism.
So it looks neat. Again, it's going to have the different civilizations from the previous games, and they'll give you their own flavor.
That was going
I'm
to be my
excited.
question. So it's still going to go with you're playing a particular civ?
Yeah, I think so.
wonder
Or I
how
don't know
they're
if you're playing a civ or if they're all represented.
Okay, I was wondering how that was going to work in the mining theme,
Yeah.
you know what I mean?
Yeah. I don't know if...
The multinational conglomeration mine.
Yeah, it's an expedition to go dig.
I really like Hannah Quick's artwork. I like it a lot. I'm excited about this game because it's combolicious.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That whole combolicious, where you play a
Right.
card, activates one's
Combolicious.
next to you. I'm a big fan of that. So I hope this one's really good.
I do like that art as well. I appreciate
What does it say? It's coming out fall 2023.
Okay.
Put it out of my mind.
Yeah.
All right, The Mind. Speaking of the mind, Soulmates. So, make a popular game, make a bunch of spin-offs. This is another sequel to The Mind.
I saw this, and that's as far as it went. I know
Right.
nothing about it. What's the deal? What's
You
the
need
deal
to play
with
your
the
cards
mind?
What's the
face
deal?
down. You need to play your cards face down, and the seer player can look at cards ahead of play and give clues on a wipeable board.
Oh, boy.
I gotta say, every part of that description sounds horrible.
Yes. I don't understand kind of how this... I mean, are
The
you
Mind is... Do you like The Mind?
It's okay.
And
I
you
mean,
don't like
Okay,
it.
it's okay.
I think we're all the same then.
Yeah.
It's fine. I'll play it as an activity once or twice,
Right.
and then I'm kind of done with it.
Yeah. Yeah, I never found it. I never quite got why it was such a big deal when it first came out, other than it did
It's
something
super
different.
unique,
Yeah,
yeah.
it did something different, and I was like, okay, that's an interesting idea. I just don't see coming. I don't know why it's had the legs it's had. You know what I mean? Like, to me, other games in this kind of of line, like Illusion, I'd rather play Illusion than The Mind. You know what I mean? Another
Yes.
cooperative game where you
Yes.
put in the color. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
So I don't know.
I don't know about this one. It sounds like maybe the very, very simple concept of the mind, which it kind of lives or dies by,
Right.
is being muddied up a bit.
That's my concern, right?
Right.
The Mind is fine. It's just, you play it. It's what it is. Adding more stuff. There's
Yeah.
also The Mind. There's like a more difficult version
Maybe like
of
the Mind Extreme.
Yeah. Where is my mind?
All right, let's jump to Black Hole Buccaneers. But if you glance at this cover, it does look like a wrecking ball is coming at this guy with that
Came
little
in like
cable.
a wrecking ball. It does. You're right. I can't really
Black
see it here.
hole.
Oh, you can see it right
buck.
there.
Oh, there you go.
Black
I
hole.
was thinking the
buck.
same thing, actually. Yep.
This is a game about collecting space junk. It's coming out mid-2023 from Pegasus Spiel. I am 6 out of 10 on my excitement scale. This might be good.
I'm ambivalent, but Pegasus does tend to put out some interesting little card games.
They
So
do.
I'll certainly give it a shot.
Not sure why Doctor Who's involved in this one.
Where's Doctor Who?
See the little telephone box
Yeah,
there on the
that's
top
true.
of that?
You're right. You're
That
right.
actually, like you pointing that out, actually makes me less excited.
And then
I guess you're collecting junk in outer space, though.
Right.
So there's like a Game Boy,
Oh,
right
yeah,
there.
you're right.
and I guess the phone booth. Yeah, okay. This might be a little tongue-in-cheek, jokey,
Yeah.
silly. I'm actually not a big fan of that.
Yeah.
I think that reduces a game's longevity. Like you see a joke and you laugh the first time, and you smirk the second, and then it's like, see,
And
you're
also, is
over
that person doing a
Stupid jokes.
superhero pose?
Yeah,
That
superhero
definitely is
landing.
the Black Widow pose, yeah.
Okay. All right. But that cover is amazing compared
cool.
to our next cover.
What do you mean? No, this is good.
This is terrible.
Chateau.
So the thing is, what's worse, the name or the cover? Because that's a death match right there. That's a terrible name. That's a terrible cover.
It's a roll and write. This is coming from.
No, who would have thought?
Yeah, it's
Oh, does anyone actually roll dice like that anyway?
Well, he's not rolling;
roll
he's
them-
levitating.
He's
them. That's
pretty-
like he's a
he's-
straight up magician.
yeah, but I'm saying anytime it shows anyone rolling dice, their hand is always like
They always
this.
do this.
And I don't think my hand ever is like that.
No, I'm always doing one
You
of
do
these.
this and you drop. Your hand is like this.
that's
That
not
looks
how
like-
I roll.
Show me how you roll.
there you go. It's one of these.
And I always make sure I look at my opponents.
That's right. You don't look at the dice. You're like,
it's all in the follow through. All of
Right.
this is all just for show. That's where it counts.
That's where you do it.
Right.
I don't even shake my hand. I just go.
The problem is people have seen me roll dice, so I really have no leg to stand on here. So no matter how I roll dice, it's wrong.
anyhow.
That cover's really by the numbers, isn't
It's
it? It's like a
so
bad movie poster.
generic.
Anyway, this
They're
is from
just
a
marking things off a
Rolling
list.
Rhino
Show
game.
dice. Show the fact that it's a blueprint.
Right.
Show the building half built.
Show
Put
some
a big guy on the
Renaissance
front.
food, yeah.
The only thing missing is the fact that he's smiling, and that's
That's
a
true.
faux pas.
That is
He
true.
should be serious. He should be scolding you. What's happening here?
Right. Yeah.
I'm actually going to look this up because I'm trying to find this company is Rolling Rhino. I want to see what else they have done in the past.
Also,
So they
isn't a
did this-
Chateau, and this is definitely showing my ignorance
Castle,
here.
yeah.
I
Just
thought a
means-
Chateau was like a small little cottage. It's not.
Chateau's just a castle.
Oh, it's a castle. Okay.
It's French for castle.
Oh,
It's like Le Havre.
merci beaucoup.
So Rolling Rhino, the other games that they have put out are, well, just a game called Rocco Ranger, which was a print and play
Okay, not
Kickstarter. I
familiar.
think we talked about that one. And the designer of this one has also designed
Nathan.
a game called Rocco Ranger.
Oh, okay. Rocco Ranger. All right.
All right, so
Got
we'll
it.
see.
All right.
All right, now, this cover is much cooler. Expeditions is coming out. This
Yeah.
is a follow-up to the old Wolfgang Kramer game, Expedition, which is a really solid game.
Oh.
It's so interesting.
Okay,
They added an
okay.
S, right?
Yeah.
And then completely changed. Obviously, it looks like the theme and the cover.
world hopping, yeah.
Super Meeple has done a really good job of re-implementing old Euros, specifically the Mask trilogy. They did
Yes.
a great
I agree.
job
If
with those.
Super Meeple is redoing an old Euro game,
Yeah.
I'm in. It's
Done.
it's always better than the
It
original
is.
version.
I agree. I
It
agree.
is.
They know how to do a souped-up production without going nuts.
Exactly.
They know how to give you deluxe components without you feeling like, geez, guys, ease off.
Right. Normal box sizes, the price point
Just-
that you would
yeah,
expect
yes.
for a nice game.
Interestingly enough, though, just like the last game, this game shows you how the game works. It's like because you're connecting. It has like the original had like these little sticks that you connected
Okay.
across, almost
Yeah.
not Ticket to Ride style, but a little like that. I don't remember all the. It's been 20 years.
I remember you talking about
since I
this
played
game, though, that
this.
you thought it was a good game.
I
don't know
enjoyed
what
it,
the
yeah.
context was, but I remember
Well,
you talking
Wolfgang
about it.
Kramer is almost always good.
That's true.
Although I wonder if this one's. We talk about Super Meeple. They upgrade these games. They make them look good. We play them. We're like, that's right. It was a pretty decent game, and then it doesn't ever go anywhere.
Unfortunately.
They never get pulled off the
unfortunately.
shelf like all of them. Maybe Takao would be the one, but I don't see people playing Takao much either.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah, I have the masked editions by Super Meeple, and they're great, but you're right. It's harder to get them played. I mean, they are older games, and you have to be okay with the action point system, at least for those games.
again, if those games came out today, they would be fine. People
Yeah.
would appreciate them just fine. It's the fact that folks out there know they're old
Right.
that keep them off their table. That's it. It's not like the graphics aren't worse. It's not a
No.
video game.
Right.
Mechanically, it's not worse. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They're great games. This looks fantastic as well. I'm excited to try this out.
I do want to try this one, yeah.
That S really makes it. I think
Another
it's-
cool looking cover, but not a great name. Moon River. Sing it, Mike.
Moon River, deeper than whatever.
You switched keys twice there, but that's all right.
I have no idea, man. I don't,
keys.
I don't know keys. I don't know notes. I know feel. I'm not
Don't
so
try to
much,
make Mike look good.
I'm not
what
so
was
much
that all
a singer
about?
as I am a
Mike,
vocal
Mike.
stylist, Tom.
Okay, I apologize.
Well.
I'm not keen enough yet to get this stuff. Moon River is coming from Blue Orange Gamer, Bruno Catala, and Johan Cervais.
Cerveza.
This is building off of the King Domino universe, but
Right.
happily they didn't put the word King Domino anywhere, but
Very little bottom.
very little tiny in the
Yeah.
It's a
bottom.
nice move. I have to applaud that
I agree.
move. I'm glad this is not called like Moon Domino or something. You know what I
Which
mean?
they could have easily done,
yeah,
right?
Riv Domino.
This,
I appreciate
that's
that.
a great cover, though. I love
It's a
that,
great
that
cover.
aspect of looking at the top of a cliff
Yeah,
down.
the little
Really good.
slight blur. It's a really well done cover. Do you know anything about the game? I mean, I'm assuming when they say a King Domino game, it's going to be basically those domino tiles that you're still drafting, but there's
Right.
going to be something else around
The
that.
only thing I picked up on a little bit is that apparently part of the gimmick here is the domino halves don't come put together already.
Oh, interesting.
Which I think you get a clue to that in the title there with the jigsaw piece.
Okay, got
So
it.
from what I understand, you are drafting, I don't know how, again, halves of dominoes and clicking them together to create a domino, and then you're building with that.
I
Okay.
like half a domino is just a square.
It's a square, right?
Right.
But, you know, the jigsaw piece, I guess, makes them, forces you to kind of put two together.
Okay.
It's not a square, it's a half.
So
it has
you'll
to go
have to
together.
you'll have to pick complementary sides. Like you
Yeah.
couldn't have two. You know,
I guess that's true.
Yeah.
Again, we're spitballing here, but
we're speculating.
I like the theme. I like the sort of old west, you know, building up a town or you know whatever settlement, and then the King Domino is already a really neat system. A little innovation on top of that. I'm game.
Are you familiar with the code designer? I don't think I've heard the name.
I'm not. They might have done a bunch of stuff, and I'm just not aware of them.
All right.
All right, All Play, which you might remember from Board Game Tables, there's a bunch of new stuff coming out.
Man, talk about good covers.
They
Yes.
are knocking it out of the park with these covers. Go ahead.
First, we have Mind Space,
Love it.
a polyomino placement, flip and write game.
Flip it, write it, love it.
Then one of the best covers ever, Sail.
Wow.
Love
Weberson,
it.
Santiago.
Weberson Santiago. I like seeing him
Man.
kind of shift. So I was talking to the guys from All Play, and they said that they liked Weberson Santiago, and they're like, the next game, we can fit him in. And then they saw this with Pirates, and they're like, yes, but that cover is everything.
It's stunning.
Everything's
about
It is
it.
really
Stunning.
stunning. And we've talked a lot. I mean, I think you were the first one to really kind of point out Weberson Santiago's artwork on this channel anyway. And he didn't have a lot of games.
No.
out. And now it seems like he's more, you know, you're seeing his stuff more.
Right. I would love for him to get as much work as the Micho seems to get.
Yeah, or do trade or something like that. Yeah,
'cause he is.
This is incredible.
Like, it's incredibly easy to recognize his work.
Yes, just like,
Like
the
the
Micho,
Micho, just like the trade,
right,
just like Piero, you know,
Yeah.
someone like that. But he just doesn't do as much. And I don't
Yeah.
know, again, maybe his artwork is harder to put out or create. I don't know. I think as far as not just artwork in games, but as far as a cover artist,
Oh my gosh.
he is one of the best.
Almost unparalleled. That
I agree.
That other one with the little moped riding away.
Yeah,
I mean,
that was him.
It kind of
Yeah.
evokes feelings from you, right? It's not just a board game cover.
Artwork evoking feelings is a wild concept.
yeah.
It doesn't always, though. You want to go back to the guy
Let's go
rolling
back to
dice?
Chateau.
No, go back.
Okay.
That inspires feelings.
Okay.
Yeah.
So let's talk about this game. This is a cooperative two-player trick-taking game.
It was a Japanese game, I believe.
Player cooperative.
Yeah, I think it was a relatively well-regarded, but slightly obscure
Of course,
Japanese
of course.
two-player game, and yeah, and because that's also something All Play has been doing a lot. Like all of these trick-taking games are Japanese trick-taking games that they're bringing over. So
I'm
Good
really,
news. In a
I'm
few
psyched
weeks-
about this
in
one,
a few
not
weeks
just the
we'll be
look.
playing these games live on our channel.
Really?
Yeah.
I'm psyched.
So
on
I'm
board.
playing Sail.
I'm in sale.
All right. I don't know how to say this next word here, Mike. This
Okay.
is too fancy for me.
all right, here we go. Couture.
Right.
Couture.
So this is another Japanese game. This is where you're trying to win auctions, building your career in the fashion industry, and that is another good cover.
That's a great cover.
I really like that cover.
Very nice.
They are coming
yeah.
correct, and we're going to see another one that also has a great cover. I had heard that, I think I heard Chris talking about this yesterday, that the original theme was based around Japanese floor mats in their homes, and they wanted to make a more universal theme, so they went to fashion.
Fashion.
Yeah. So
Well, that lady does look like a wrapped up Christmas present. Like, who wears? Okay, anyway.
Fashion.
And then Chomp. This is from Clarence Simpson. It's a
another
tile
great cover.
placement game. You're creating groups of. Are you sure this wasn't the one?
no, I'm pretty sure it was
Okay.
Couture was the one. I'm
Anyway,
pretty
you're
sure.
creating groups of herbivores and carnivores, and you need to feed your carnivores or they eat your plant eaters. So,
This looks like it belongs in that little line of theirs that all have the same font.
Yes.
The little squares.
Dandelions.
Yeah, and
right,
there's
right.
quite a few of them now, so this is in that line of games.
Yeah, these, I mean, boy, I this is difficult to say to go overboard because they are a sponsor. But the bottom line is that I really like what All Play is doing right now.
I agree.
Regardless of any sponsorship, I'm very excited about these.
That sale game, man. Oof. I want to play that.
all right. Hasbro and Funko, and I got the announcement for this. They're like, the two biggest publishers in gaming. And I was like, okay, I got Hasbro, but I don't think Funko's bigger than Asmodee yet. Anyway, they're doing Cranium 25th Anniversary Edition.
Okay.
Really?
Now, despite my hatred of Cranium, and I do, I have to give it nods. I mean, it really, I think it kind of revitalized the party industry.
really did.
When
It did.
Cranium came out, people started playing party games, and I'm glad for that.
That's
Any
true.
game that makes people play more games is fine, and even if I don't like it, if you're having a great time playing it, huzzah.
Huzzah.
But this has just got new stuff in it. They're also coming out with Cranium Big Brain Detective game, which is going to be like Micro Macro, actually, but for kids.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
And then Cranium Hullabaloo and Cranium Hoopla, those are already exist, and they're going to be reissued too. This is
What
all
about
coming
Cranium
out.
Ziggity?
Ziggity Zaggity? Is that that's a clay? That's a thing of clay, right? Next to
I
it.
assume that's
because in
clay.
Cranium it's
Yeah.
like
Right,
Play-Doh
right.
or
yeah,
whatever.
it's everything.
What is that
It's-
called? Play-Doh's technically a brand name, right?
Yeah, modeling clay, basically.
Modeling clay.
I
Okay.
think it's called modeling clay though hardens.
It does. That's true.
Play-Doh is I think it's called playing dough, or it's not too far off. I
Right,
think.
right.
Okay.
Give me a Kleenex. All right. In news we all were begging for,
That's
the very
right.
popular Uwe Rosenberg Newsfjord is getting a
Box?
Big box.
big box version.
Yeah.
This is the cover of the base game. I didn't see a picture for the big box
It's
yet.
trash. Cover trash. The old one, nobody wants that. Give me that big box.
Newsfjord is definitely not one of the most popular of his games.
I was going to say this
Easily
is
not.
this is a little interesting. Like I've played it. It's good. I mean, it's very good. But it doesn't stand out to me. Other than maybe it's a little shorter than some of his other games.
What else is there that can go into a big box?
Well, they just did Agricola, which incidentally we got in, and I hate the box for the big box.
Yeah,
of
the
Agricola.
shape of the box.
The box.
Right.
There's Cavern and Le Havre, which they have not done.
No, I'm saying, what else can they put in this big box?
Oh, there's some
Oh.
expansions.
There.
There's some
They're
expansions.
going to add in 2 expansions, the 2 existing, and also another expansion.
Is anyone aware of these? I'm not necessarily keeping up with Newsfjord, but
Yeah,
They're just a couple more decks. They always make new decks for their cards.
I will say this, and this is probably a stupid statement, but I'll say it anyway. What the heck? The people that like this game really like this game. Like
That's a
it has a
stupid
it has a
statement, Mike. That's
small.
true for everything.
It has, from what I think, is a relatively small but
I
passionate
agree.
fan base.
I think the people who like Newsfjord like it. The
Maybe
people who
one of
like
his
it, they'll say
best.
it's his best game,
Right.
and I'm like, what? It's
Yeah.
clearly in the middle for me.
Yeah, it was fine. It was fine.
I
But
think it's weird. We're throwing that term "big box" around like it's going out of style.
It's a very
okay.
It's
This game has
definitely
a
thing.
small expansion. We're going to put them together and call it the big box. Oh, and wait, let's throw in 1 extra player power because screw you, gamers. You got to get the whole thing.
I got good news for you. Our next
Yeah.
piece of news is going smaller.
Small box.
yes.
That's what I want.
we
It's
go.
actually mini. Azul Mini.
Azul small box.
So this is coming down in the second quarter of this year. A scaled down version. And there's going to be little plastic trays on the stuff to keep them in place, the score pads.
Yeah,
And then there's going to be a bag that can hold the whole thing.
you can just carry it in a bag. You know what? I don't think this is a bad idea. The question I have is that if you've got base Azul, do you need this?
Well,
I mean,
if you do want to, okay, so you see a lot of people carrying around that quiver.
Yeah.
So the quiver is a box that holds a bunch of card games.
Right.
And when people travel, Azul is not a big game.
No.
But it still takes up a good chunk of your suitcase.
it does.
If you have a bag, you could throw that in.
And it's mostly, I kind of have to see how these boards work out and everything, because are the boards going to fit in the bag too, I suppose?
It's a weird game to miniaturize, I have to say, and I get it. It's very popular.
Yeah.
They want more. It's going to probably
Sure.
sell, but Azul is... You need a decent surface, all the little discs.
I want to
with
see
all the
like
little
actual
things.
size of the new tiles compared
Yeah.
to the old
Well,
ones.
they show the picture there, kind of gives you an idea.
They
of
show the box.
No, look at the bottom, those
The
two
box
tiles.
has a hang tab.
Yeah, but they don't show the new tiles next to the old tiles, or do they?
Isn't that what that is?
Oh. Oh, it's so cute!
Again, I'm worried about the fact that this has a hang tab means it's not that big. There's a lot of tiles in Azul.
There are.
This is almost made for you to start losing pieces as soon as you crack it open.
It's like
you
those
know?
little mini chess sets.
Yeah. We'll see. I am going to go ahead and let other people play that.
Okay.
All right, good news. Unmatched has a digital edition coming out for
Very
Steam,
soon.
iOS, Android, Nintendo Switch. It is releasing
28th,
the 28th of February.
Oh, February.
I was wondering why you said it was coming out
like, it's
in
in a
2
couple of
days.
days. No, not
it's
quite.
coming out in a month.
Okay.
And then they're going to release, and you can see this here, they're going to release lots of, you can get a season pass as they release all these different characters. I'm assuming,
Yeah.
when they release it, it's going to be just the 4 base heroes from the original game, or was there 6 in the original game? There was 6, right? King Arthur.
Gosh, which one's the original one?
King Arthur.
King Arthur, Sinbad.
Was Sinbad in the original?
Yeah,
Medusa?
if we're thinking of like Battle of, what is that one called?
Battle of Legends, maybe?
Yeah.
That was the
something.
first one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it was King Arthur, Medusa.
Little Red,
what's Snow White? The Alice in Wonderland.
Alice in Wonderland, thank you. And Sinbad.
Yeah, so it was 4.
Yeah.
So I think those 4 will come first, maybe, and then it
Bigfoot
looks,
and Robin Hood.
which was the first expansion. Yeah, that's what it looks like.
And they are talking about, I don't know if this has been finalized yet, but they are talking about having maybe digital-only characters that,
That would be interesting if they could do things in digital you can do physically.
Exactly.
And
That's
then
the
they
thing.
could, of course, innovate on that.
You want to
Right.
bet money that there won't be Marvel, though? I would imagine.
That would be probably.
Yeah, sure, I could see that.
Akram
being
is the company
problematic.
putting this together. What else have they done?
Akram has
Akram's
done a ton of stuff.
They've
They're
done,
fantastic.
they do the Charterstone app.
Oh, I'm in.
Yeah,
Yeah, no, they are one of the absolute best.
they are.
All right, Lord of the Rings has had a resurgence of popularity due to the new Rings of Power series, I would guess.
probably.
And so this is announced the Lord of the Rings from Ravensburger, the Lord of the Rings adventure book game. This is the 3rd in that series. They've done Princess Bride and Wizard of Oz.
That's right.
Okay.
And this is a cooperative game. They're very light, and you go through each page. You play through the whole book essentially.
Okay.
Each
You
session.
go through each
okay.
page, and you have to do something, and you're drawing cards, playing cards, and you have a combined deck that gets better as the game goes by. Like if you do well, you
Okay.
can add some cards to the deck for the next one, and eventually
Okay.
you win or lose. They're not particularly difficult to beat, but they're also for families.
Sure, yeah,
so
of course.
I'm looking forward to this one here.
All right.
It says each chapter takes 20 minutes to play. There's 8 chapters. So if I imagine, that's a long game, I imagine in the original one you could also just say, we'll stop here between
Oh, right.
these.
Okay.
So I would imagine that it has a savable thing in it.
All right.
That's cool.
All right, Villainous for Marvel keeps on doing well. This is a new Villainous with the 3 bad guys are Doc Ock, Titania, who has not yet shown up in the MCU that I know of.
Yeah, I've never
Oh,
heard
no,
of
oh, never mind.
She's in She-Hulk.
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 I'm sorry, I expunged that from my
I
mind.
haven't seen She-Hulk.
She was in She-Hulk.
That was a terrible. That's
Or I
one of
should
my
say
least favorite.
She was in She-Hulk.
That's one of my least favorite villains to.
Like
The MCU.
translation from what it is in the comic book pages to what
Yes,
they did.
terrible.
But Tom, she's an influencer, okay? She was awesome.
And Kang the Conqueror, which I'm a little surprised is not the
star.
the
How do they
headliner
not
of
put him
this.
in the center? Yeah. That's how you know Spider-Man is strong.
That's true. That is
That's
very
true.
true.
Spider-Man is no joke.
Yup.
And it's compatible with the other Marvel Villainous games.
That's very cool.
All right. Zegomatic and Asmodee are coming out with a game called Timeline Twist. It's a cooperative card game, and it's from the Timeline series of games, which is, I think, a fantastic game.
Great series.
And
of
has
games.
been dormant for a bit, if I'm not mistaken, right?
Yeah, they changed they've changed the packaging a number of times.
Yeah.
Right? You had a square box for a while,
The
then you had the little
tins.
tins, and then you had the big box. What was it? Timeline Adventures
Challenge.
or Challenge?
Timeline
that's right.
Challenge, but that actually, as far as I can tell, Timeline Challenge came and was like, pfft,
Yeah.
and that almost felt like it was the end. Although I think Timeline Challenge is the best way to play, and all my little decks for Timeline are in
there.
it.
Yeah.
Yes.
But this, I do like this revamping. This makes it look very modern,
Yeah.
very clean.
I do like the look of it, actually.
And it's going to be $17 and plays in 20 minutes, 2 to 6 players. And you're
Cool.
just trying to put cards in the timeline.
Like in a
That's
consecutive
weird, though.
order.
It says players score points by correctly placing the cards in the timeline before their opponents. But it says earlier, cooperative card game. Oh, no, never mind. They're explaining.
Yes.
I don't know if it's cooperative or not now.
Well, first it's cooperative.
That's right.
Then it's timeline.
It says team up to untangled time on the bottom.
That's a lot of alliteration.
It says cooperative card game at the top of the box.
Well, there you go.
All right, either way,
We're getting
interesting.
conflicting information.
All right.
It looks like the new look brings it in line with Similo and that kind of game.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
Speaking of new looks, Beyond the Sun is getting an expansion. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm very excited about this expansion.
Yeah, yeah.
What's up with that cover?
Well, At least
don't
it's
like that cover?
consistent, right? It's
I
consistent with the old
don't.
one.
What's that say? Something included?
Leaders of the New Dawn.
Solo mode included. Hello.
Yeah, yeah.
That also looks like a sticker was put on the
It
box.
does. It
It's a
does.
little, yeah.
Anyway, so this is the Beyond the Sun, very, very popular game. In this expansion, which has a co-designer who wasn't in the original game,
Yeah.
adds asymmetrical factions of leaders. Good.
We like asymmetry.
New strategies with the planetary area control board. We'll see. You know, it just needs to have more stuff, and it needs to fit in the original box for me.
That's pretty big.
Don't know
yeah.
how big this is, unfortunately. There's no real sense of, is this the size of the original box? Is it a small little package?
Right.
There's no sense of how big this will be.
No, there isn't.
But I don't dislike that cover. I think that's a great cover.
Really?
Yeah.
I'm ambivalent.
All right. Originally, when Seven Wonders was announced, there was supposed to be 7 expansions for it. Then they started cheating by saying like some promos were expansions so they could get to 7. Then they rebooted Seven Wonders. And this, I think, is the first expansion that's only for the reboot? Or was the last one also only for the
Kind of.
reboot?
Kind of. This is half of Babel.
This is...
Less exciting.
This is a slightly reworked.
Oh, this is the major projects part
Yeah,
for Babel.
this is the
Well, that's the
major-
better half of Babel.
That is the part that people
Okay,
liked.
okay.
Hence why Babel has been jettisoned and shall remain forgotten. So
Yeah,
yes,
which is
they
unfortunately because the part that was named after the Tower
Yeah,
of Babel.
that's the part
I
that-
didn't dislike it. I thought that part was fine, but I really like this
Well, that
part.
part really pulled focus
Yes.
from Seven Wonders.
Right.
You have to go all in on that or not at all. And this part then gave you this kind of semi-cooperative. You can work towards this thing. If it gets completed, great. Everyone who helped gets something. If it doesn't get completed, anyone who didn't contribute gets punished.
Which is a good way to do that because
Yeah.
you don't lose out by helping towards it.
Right, exactly.
Right. So, yeah, that's what this is. So it's kind of new, a little reworked, but really it's half of Babel.
Okay, I'm a little less excited just because I've already played it.
Sure,
I was
sure.
hoping it was a brand new expansion. All right.
It's nice. This second time through, they've really picked, they've been careful. They pick and choose what they
Yeah,
want.
right.
They've cleaned up a lot of things. So they rebalanced some of the powers just in the core box.
Right.
So right now, if you've jumped in since then, you've got the base game, which is solid. What is it?
Leaders and cities.
Leaders, cities, Armada, which was a surprise hit expansion.
Yeah.
Now you've got this. It's a great line. I expect the same from this.
I'm sure. Yeah, they are doing a good job with the reboot.
I want to see more stuff for architects, though. But anyhow. Alrighty. That, folks, is the news.